My next guest said back in 2009 that tech would lead the U.S. out of recession. Now we're wondering whether we're in a tech bubble. He's the managing director and head of value creation at Silver Lake, the biggest private equity firm specializing in technology companies. The company recently turned a $2.9 billion profit when Microsoft bought Skype last May. Joining me now is Giancarlo, who also sits on the board of Accenture and Netflix. Charlie, welcome to Bloomberg West. Great to have you here.
Thank you, Emily. It's a real pleasure.
Had a lot of foresight 3 years ago when you said this. Since then, tech hiring boom, multiple tech IPOs, tech valuations going up and up and up and up. But is the bubble on the horizon? Are we in one right now?
Well, I've been in tech ever since I graduated, so quite a long time, and I've been through at least 3 or 4 bubbles. So we seem to be constantly in a bubble, and it's, you know, at one point in time it's computers or computer software, another time it's networking, and then it's the results of networking and software on the internet, and today it's about social. And I have no doubt we'll be in another one 5 years from now that'll be something else that we can only guess at right now.
So is a bubble a bad thing?
No, a bubble is a good thing. A bubble is the explosion of innovation and technology, and we roll off of one into another, and you have one bubble after another, and pretty soon you have a froth. And we've had, you know, a 30-year froth of technology.
So is there going to be a burst and a bad come down?
Well, maybe in a micro area, right? So, for example, social is very popular now, and no doubt it's going to continue to stay a big business. But at some point, you know, the growth slows down and it becomes a substantial business, and then you'll start to see both talent as well as capital and interest start to shift to a new market. But it's not a bad thing.
Now, you're the head of value creation.
Yes.
Looking into the future, where do you see the most value in technology companies?
I have to say, it's a very exciting time in technology right now. We see lots of new opportunities. Some things that your viewers are going to be very well acquainted with. So social, local, mobile are very exciting areas, as well as the entire migration of applications to the so-called cloud, meaning that instead of having to own, operate, and manage software installations in order to get the benefit of that software, now you can subscribe to it on a monthly basis, and it's hosted by somebody else, and you get it through the power of the internet. That's very exciting. Something else we really like is storage. If you think about it, storage is the cumulative product of everything we do that's digital. And it just keeps growing and growing and growing, and no one ever throws any of it away. And it's going through its own set of transformations right now that's very exciting.
Even Steve Jobs tried to buy Dropbox, right?
There you go. That's right.
Now, you guys were really flexible in terms of your last fund, investing in more sort of venture-type deals like Zynga and Groupon from your large cap fund. Do you see investing in more venture-type deals in your large-cap fund in the future? I
think it's very possible. It'll always be a minority of what we do. We'll get the opportunity to do that because we understand scaled technology firms, and so we fill in a niche that venture really doesn't necessarily be able to address, which is what happens when you get big, and how do you operate a big firm, a big company. And so we're invited in often because of our knowledge of what happens when tech companies become mature. And we'll take advantage of that, but our primary focus will be around large established companies that are going through transition.
Let's talk a bit about Skype. You guys made a big bet on it, got a huge return, though some would say Skype's value still hasn't yet been fully realized. What does Microsoft need to do with Skype to realize that value?
Well, you know, we're very proud of what of our contribution to Skype, and we think it's as you said, the value is only beginning to be realized. The combination with Microsoft is really going to, we think, add a lot of value. There are 3 areas in particular that are of great interest. First of all, the connection with their enterprise product, which is called Link, so that not only will employees within a company be able to communicate among themselves, but they'll also be able to speak to their customers and their suppliers on Skype. A great opportunity. The connection of Skype's desktop application with the ad engine of Microsoft will allow them to monetize the free service in a way that was going to be more difficult as a private company. And then finally, the connection of Skype on the mobile devices with Windows Mobile is a great opportunity.
You're on Netflix's board. Obviously, it's been a tumultuous few months. After all that, DVD-only subscriptions are back. What does that say about Netflix's future strategy? Reed has said over and over again, streaming is the future.
Right.
So why do this?
Well, it's very clear, and we've said from the very beginning, and even with the price change, that we were going to continue the DVD service. It's very valuable to many of our subscribers who either don't have high-speed internet access, don't care for high-speed internet access, or want access to all of the catalog of movies that are available on DVD that are not available on streaming. But the fact of the matter is, you know, the young audience, as well as many consumers, increasingly are migrating to this over-the-top streaming model, and clearly that's been the bulk of the growth over the last many quarters. So it is the future, but at the same time, DVD is going to be around for a good long time, and we want to still be the premier supplier of that.
Netflix is getting into original content. I interviewed Stevie Van Zandt a couple of weeks ago about his new show, Lilyhammer. What's the strategy here? How much do you think original content can boost subscriptions?
Right. Well, it's an important element in the toolkit for creating an audience that really wants to come back to your content over and over again. So it's going to be a part of our toolkit, but certainly not exclusive.
Okay. I do want to talk a bit about Yahoo. You guys obviously are the experts at turning around companies. Yahoo has now said it didn't find any of the private equity offers attractive. Silver Lake was associated in reports with potential offers. Do you think Yahoo can turn itself around without private equity help?
Well, first of all, I would not underestimate any great company, and Yahoo is a great company in terms of being able to turn itself around. Obviously, it's making changes both in management and on the board, and it wasn't very long ago when Apple was selling below $10 billion, and everyone had written it off as a basket case.
But Apple
and now it's the world's most valuable company.
Right, but there are so few examples of major turnarounds like that. Apple is one of maybe two, if you think of maybe IBM as the other.
That's true. You know, but it's very hard to predict these things. You can have a technology transformation that really favors the company. So, you know, I wish them the best, and I think that the changes they're making are the right ones.
I do want to ask you a quick question about Alibaba.
Yeah.
You guys have a stake in the Alibaba group.
Yes, we do.
Talks between Alibaba and Yahoo have now stalled. Alibaba's trying to buy back Yahoo's stake in Alibaba. Do you think they'll be successful with that?
It's always hard to predict, but at some point, you know, this is the kind of transformation that has to take place. And so, yes, ultimately, I believe it will.
Okay, well, we'll be watching for that. Charles, Giancarlo, thanks so much for joining us. Great to hear your perspective about all these wide-ranging companies.
Thank you very much, Emily.